Motch is taking notes. Motch, you are already well cute enough. You don't need to put in any effort.
Motch, there's always room for improvement.
Thank you, Wes. True, bro. No, you know I can't say that, so you say it for me. No, it's
Bro,
fine. Even if I did
I'm just saying. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Uzalu believes in it, but it's always room for improvement. Every woman and every man, every person is always capable of improving themselves. No person is perfect. The goal is to become better. Always. And if you think that you've hit your best, that's when you start to die. That's when you start to stagnate. So always go for self-improvement.
Mm.
If you do 5 push-ups a day, try for 7. If you walk a half mile a week, try a 3/4 of a mile or a mile. Always go for that little extra step.
Hickside recommends reading Machiavelli, and actually, you'll be shocked to hear this, Motch particularly. I have actually read The Prince, and so it was in a period of time where I was sort of going through what is this power politics stuff and trying to understand it, and Machiavelli and the 48 Laws of Power as well, both really great. And for a short time there, I overcorrected. And I was like, empathy doesn't exist. It's just a strategic advantage. But I sort of pull back a bit from that. Empathy does exist, but on a larger scale, evolutionarily, it is also a strategic advantage. Just individually,
there's 2 more.
Go on.
There's 2 more that I would suggest. Alinsky's Rules for Radicals.
Yeah.
And I believe it's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Those are
so El Príncipe, the sovereign, often mistranslated as the prince, is the mirror opposite of that. Is Rules for Radicals. You should learn both.
Yeah.
Oh, The Righteous Mind. That's also not a bad one, enigmatic. But the must-reads are El Príncipe, Rules for Radicals, Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
I've read that too.
It's another good one. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Actually, I would probably go for those 4 as my top. There's a couple more, but off the top of my head, those are the big ones. Oh, I almost forgot. The 5th book. You're gonna laugh. Unironically, Starship Troopers, Robert Heinlein.
He does have a lot of good. Well, I know of at least one idea in there that's very true, and I haven't heard from anyone else.
Well, the big one, and you might be thinking, well, violence is a supreme authority upon all other, but no. The big one, in my opinion, is Sergeant Zim talking to the recruits in Rico, and he's like, he basically talks about what's the difference between a barbarian and a civilized man. And it's not violence, because violence, everyone uses violence. The difference between a barbarian, a savage, a raider, an animal in human form, and a civilized man is a civilized man will go in, used just enough violence to get the job done and maintain, and then once the threat is eliminated, remove the violence. And make sure that stability is maintained by the threat of violence, whether that be overt or subtle. The assumption that violence will be used again, not with constant overt violence. A barbarian will go in, kill everyone that gets in their way, steal whatever they want, and then leave. A civilized man will go in, eliminate the immediate threat, stabilize the area, maintain until active violent potential is no longer needed, and then leave. That is one of the key differences between a barbarian and a civilized man.
Yeah.
And there are scales to that. And that's up to you to decide what those scales are. Are you a civilized man? Are you able to contemplate what is just enough violence? Well, that's up to you. That is completely on you.
And what Garrow's just pasted there is another, a few more good ones. Secrecy is the beginning of tyranny. Yeah, It doesn't mean secrecy is not allowed. You have to have some degree of it, which is why it's difficult to prevent tyranny. But yeah, it's true. The greatest productive force is human selfishness. Yeah, ultimately. Not on its own and not unabated, but yeah, ultimately. But yeah, that one's kind of funny. Be wary of strong drink; it can make you shoot at tax collectors and miss. That one's just him ragging on taxes. I wouldn't call that like a deep aphorism.
Yeah,
but still, it's good.
I would say one of my favorite quotes, obviously, other than a lie makes its way around the world twice before the truth can get its boots on.
Yes,
is politicians and diapers must be changed often and for the same reason. Those are my two favorite Mark Twain quotes. Oh, and what was it? I went to, or no, I got educated once. It took me years to get over it.
Indeed. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Wolf, I think Wes's reading list there was just for power politics related books, obviously 1984 and other dystopia stuff.
No, it's just learning how to achieve and maintain power, basically.
Yeah.
Take those, absorb the knowledge, and then apply it to your normal life. Mm-hmm. You would be surprised how useful it is.
I don't actually use power politics stuff very much in person. I don't think I recognize it, and maybe some of what I do is slightly influenced by it. But mostly what I do in real life to achieve whatever quote unquote power I may have is just try to make myself and the things around me better, consistently positive and building. Which is a much nicer way to achieve power, but I know it's not the way that you achieve a lot of power.
Unfortunately, you're not in a very competitive arena under normal circumstances. So for those of us who have to be aware of certain perpetual political and social dangers, having that knowledge is never a bad.
Well, you could argue that what I'm doing here is different enough from the rest of the market that I don't have any peers to compete with. If you broaden the definition, I suppose I do. But I mean, no one in chat can tell me of any better like online shitposting communities.
That is a very good copy of that quote, Meepa, and I actually use that quote quite often. Thank you. I'm going to save that.
Yeah, you have to have gone to college to say something that stupid. Indeed.
Yep, that is from the PETA episode of Penn and Teller's Bullshit. I have been consistently using that line for about 15 years now.